On August 15, 1461, the Empire of Trebizond surrendered to Sultan Mehmed II. Historians regard this specific surrender as the definitive end of the continuous, millennia-old Roman and Byzantine superpower. The victory was total. To extinguish the imperial line, the Ottomans forced Emperor David into exile before eventually executing him. Geopolitical superpowers of this magnitude rarely die overnight. To collapse a state this massive requires a fatal wound. Identifying that wound requires looking 825 years into the past, landing on another August 15th. The collapse in 1461 represented the final gasp of a catastrophic injury first inflicted in the year 636. On August 15, 636, the Byzantine Empire met the emerging Russian Caliphate at the Battle of Yarmouk. The defeat was absolute. In a single engagement, the Byzantines lost their momentum and their grip on the eastern Mediterranean. This loss transferred permanent offensive capabilities to the Islamic empires, creating a new geopolitical reality. From this day forward, the Byzantines were forced into a reactionary defensive posture that would define their remaining centuries. Yarmouk ignited the Arab-Byzantine Wars, condemning the empire to a slow bleed it could never successfully bandage. By August 15, 717, the escalation was undeniable. Arab forces pushed all the way to the capital, beginning the Second Siege of Constantinople. Plague and supply failures eventually forced the Arabs to abandon the siege, but the existential threat to the imperial heartland had been proven real. On August 15, 838, the Deccan reached the city of Amorium. Caliph al-Mutassim's forces stormed the city, leaving it in ruins. The human cost was staggering. Half the population was killed, the other half marched into slavery. The geographic erosion continued into the 10th century, marked by the total destruction of Toronto in 927. By 982, the instability reached the highest levels of European power, with Holy Roman Emperor Otto II suffering a major defeat in Calabria. These cascading defeats and shrinking borders served as the visible symptoms of an empire slowly bleeding out from the wound opened at Yarmouk. The legacy of 636 eventually forced the Christian world to launch massive, desperate counterattacks to reclaim their lost territory. Pope Urban II set August 15, 1096 as the official start date for the First Crusade. This retaliation spanned the continent, from the Crusades in the east to the Battle of the Puig during the Spanish Reconquista in 1237. The era required extreme military innovations, including the establishment of the Knights of Rhodes in 1310 to hold the crumbling frontiers. Despite these continent-spanning efforts, territorial losses from 636 proved irreversible. By the 1400s, Byzantine authority had shrunk to a single, isolated point at Trebizond. This brings us back to August 15, 1461, the final, quiet collapse we witnessed at the start. Yarmouk was the ultimate pivot point of the Middle Ages, the exact moment the masters of the Mediterranean began their 800-year march toward extinction.